Alright, hello again. I'm eating an apple after that long 2-hour walk. Oh, man. That felt really good. That was such a good walk, good stream. Thank you for being with me for that. Little baby apple. This is gonna be my dinner. And that's it. No more food. We'll see what weight I end up being tomorrow morning. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm 93 by tomorrow. Anyway, like I just said in my diet section in Discord, I think I'm gonna do that walk every day. Maybe every day that I walk, that I work. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, commit to doing that every day, like on my days off, because it's a pain in the ass to get to the city. But I'm definitely gonna do that every day that I work. Eat the same thing. The only difference will be, every now and then I'll have fish. I'll have tuna instead of chicken. 1 banana, 1 apple, that salad, and then chicken or fish. And that's it for my day. My daily intake. That's probably close to like 1,100 calories. I'd say 2 of these, this is 1.5 liters, so let's say 3 liters of water every day. If I can drink all of that. And then 100 push-ups every day. I'm going to try to do that for 2 weeks straight. And we'll see what happens. I wonder how quickly we could drop weight. Like, I wonder if it's just me not being disciplined enough, which is why we've teetered, like just, always being around that 97, 98 mark. I wonder if I go ultra strict, disciplined from now for 2 weeks. In theory, if I did this every day, even on my days off, I reckon I could actually get down to 80 kilos within a month. That sounds so unrealistic, but like, when you really think about it, it's... So how many kilometers would 16,000 steps be? Let me have a look on my app. How many Ks did I do? I did 7.18 miles. So Alexa, how many kilometers is 7 miles?
7 miles is about 11.27 kilometers.
So I'm doing more than 11k every day. So 11k walk every day at a relatively fast pace, minimum of 100 push-ups every day, and a deficit of calorie intake and a sufficient amount of water. I really think that's possible. Anyway, I don't know what to start with, by the way, so you guys in chat. Is there anyone in chat, first of all? I see you, Steffo. I don't know if Izzy's still here. But whoever is in chat, you guys decide. Am I gonna read my grandma's book first? Which, by the way, this is it. My grandma wrote this book with the help of an actual translator, English translator. She wrote this book. It's not very long. It's 24 pages. And it's like a short excerpt of her life on every single page, which is very cool. I'm going to read that out to you guys. I know, again, I said this earlier, but I'm going to read it. It might not necessarily be interesting to you, but I think it's amazing. So that's one of the big reasons I want to read that. Or we do the t-shirt competition. Now, the t-shirt competition, we only have 6 entries, so it's not very much. But with that said, I do kind of want to get this done with people in chat. I feel like it's more of a vibe with people in chat, so I'm a little bit hesitant to do it straight off the bat. So that's on you, chat. That is on you. In the meantime, I'm gonna call my sister, make sure that she is in chat for the book, for the reading. Hold. She just hung up on me. What the hell? What if both every page or chapter you do a t-shirt entry? We could do that. I just worry that that will interrupt. I know that this sounds so stupid, but I'm gonna turn it into a YouTube video, right? I'm just worried that it's gonna annoy me in the editing process. Oh. Hi, Izzy. No worries. I'm streaming now, so book is being read. Okay. You can't just say it? What is it? Okay, that's fine. If you want to promote that, that's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, just ask Tom for a permit. Okay, cool. No worries. Bye. Tom, get your moderator skill ready. Tom or Steffo, obviously. How's the volume, by the way? Is this good, like a good volume, or is this a good vibe for the book, do you reckon? So, Izzy, just let the chat know why you're posting that, but basically that is a petition in chat that Izzy wants you guys to maybe have a look at, and if you agree with it, sign it. If not, sign it anyway, because my sister said so, I guess. Anyway, Grandma's Book 1, The Poll. So we will read the book. And here it is. Shahina. Is this how you spell her name, Izzy? I guess she kind of went both ways. I think her name is actually Shahini, with the E, the way that I wrote it. But I think she went by Shahina Gattis, like this. Her story. For Isabel and Blake, and the way that we found this, my mom raided her, like stream raided her house after she passed away, and they found this book in her drawer, in an envelope, and it was specifically for me and Izzy, and then my mom opened it and read it herself. So that was cool. Anyway, moving on. She's also making copies of the book for everybody, even though it's just for me and Isabel, but whatever. So, you can tell that my grandma, towards the end especially, she was sick. She fell ill pretty bad. When she wrote this book, excuse me, when she wrote this book, it was back in 2015, and it's when she got cancer. And so she was confident that she was going to die. And so she wrote this book for us because she knew that she was going to die. And then she didn't. She fought, she kept going. And so she's written this little bit in Arabic. And I know it doesn't look like very good handwriting. It looks about as solid as my English handwriting. But what it says is, I write my story to you after a long life with my love, Shahina Gaddis, October 2015. Now, my grandma has a very distinct way of speaking, and like, it's very much, you can tell that it's her. It's her culture, it's the way that she spoke, it's so her. And you read this book, you really read that. You really hear that in your head. So some of this might not necessarily make sense, and I'm not going to summarize most of it. I'm just going to keep it as it is, read it out as it is. But yeah, it just might not make sense sometimes, but it's still cool. Anyway, the first page. Now remember that I was always the favorite grandchild. And the first page, a picture of my sister. I was the favorite. What happened? Chapter 1. Lebanon. I was born in Lebanon on the 21st of March 1936 and grew up there. I'm 79 years old now. I was born in Marjayoun, very close to Israel, only a street between them, right on the border. We used to play there, before the war, with the Jewish kids across the road. We used to go with them everywhere because we were neighbors. I used to speak some words. I still remember some words. When they called Shahina, I'd answer, Ken. That means I'm here. Everything stopped when the Fire Nation when they started fighting. I'm sorry, Keza. I had to. The music's too loud? Okay, 1 second. Everything stopped when they started fighting. I went to a Catholic convent school where the nuns wore big white collars and black dresses to the floor. They had a public school, but my mother said, no, we won't put you there. They put all my sisters and me in that convent school. I went there till high school. I learned dressmaking at school. The nuns taught us. When I finished high school, we moved to Beirut, the capital. In Beirut, I started working. My father was married and had a son, my elder brother. But then his first wife died. My father married my mother 6 years later. My elder brother is older than me by 6 years. His name is the same as mine, Shaheen. My father said we'd call me Shahina. In French, it's pronounced Shahina. I don't know. Yeah, I can't read it. They didn't phonetic it. Anyway. In French, it's pronounced Shahina. He loved my brother so much he called me his sister. The same name. Okay, no, that makes sense. He loved my brother so much that he called me, his sister, the same name. Because his mother died, he felt sorry for him. He was a very good brother and a very good friend to us. He used to take me everywhere, and after I came to Australia, he'd take my sister everywhere with him too. He came to Australia and died in Brisbane. He had 3 children, 1 girl and 2 boys who are still in Brisbane. All of them married now. That's actually not true, by the way. I think there's actually 4 children that he had, but she was sick towards the end. She had Alzheimer's, so she kind of forgot. In Beirut, I started working and sewing things and helping my mother, who had 10 kids. Me and my other brothers, George and Labib, the 3 of us, we used to work and help my mother and father with the other kids, to go to school and to grow up. I went to work, got home, helped my mother, and gave her some money to help pay for the school. I'm going to show you this photo, because this is the oldest photo we have of my grandma. She's the one on the bottom. I don't know if... Come on, focus. It's not focusing, is it? Damn you, technology. Anyway, this photo is taken where I used to work in Lebanon. I was there as a cutter and a dressmaker. The girl behind me in the photo was a really good friend to me. She's got her arm around me. She hugged me and no one told me what she was doing over my head. My father used to have an old Ford car with a fabric cover on the top. A very nice car. And this bit, I'm actually like, holy shit, this is one of the coolest stories. So, he had this old Ford car. He used to bring the Jewish people from all over the Middle East. They stayed in our house for one day. Nobody saw them, and sometimes they used to sleep in our house. At night, he'd take them to Israel because they weren't allowed at other times, sneaking them out. Sometimes, about halfway, he'd put the car in the bush, and then they'd walk. He'd walk with them. It was immigration, but the Arabs didn't want them to go to Israel. My father used to take them. He didn't care. Children, mothers and fathers and families. We lived in nearly the same city, the same street as them. Sometimes when he came back, the police followed him. He'd put the car in the garage and go to sleep. The police would knock on the door, and when my mother answered, they would say, "Where is he?" "He's asleep," she said. They'd say, "No, he was in Israel." And she'd say, "No, he's asleep." They'd go to the garage and test the car motor to see if it was hot or not. "We left it on," she said. That's a 5-head move right there. My father had a big truck in Lebanon and taught me how to drive it. He used to travel to all the Arab countries getting goods from the port, from the ships, in the big containers and take them to the other countries. He did the same here. When he finished at night, I met him in the street and he taught me how to drive from their home. It was a big truck. Beautiful. He sat down with me. He was good. I'm the eldest. All of the others were little, except me. That's such a my grandma thing to say. My elder brother, Shaheen, worked for the nuns at the convent, driving the school bus. When he dropped off the last kids, I drove the bus. I said, I want to drive. "All right, sit down," he said. I drove the bus. That's how I learned. Life was different there, but not anymore, I think. My brothers and sisters came here and everybody had a car. It's different life. I had a Jackaroo in Australia and used to drive everywhere. When I came here, I took lessons because I had my license in Lebanon. I had a Mercedes car and I left it when I came to Australia. My brother took it, and after he came here, he left it there. I had a driving test and got my license in Australia. I didn't find it hard. The hardest thing I found with the driving is in Lebanon they drive on the right side, and here it's on the left. I used to go automatically to the other side and they'd scream at me, "Come on, get back." Oh man. My mother was born in Metula in Israel. Then it was Palestine. We used to call it Metula a long time ago, but they tell me they've changed the name now. My father used to go shopping there, and she saw my father and they got married. That was 1936, the year I was born. That's not true. That's just not true. If they met in Come on, Tato. If they met in 1936, my grandma was born in March? Yeah. No, they would have had to meet at least in 1935. Welcome back, Senorita. How you doing? I'm reading a book that my grandma left me before she passed. So she wrote this for me and my sister, and we're just reading it now. My nephew Joseph was in Marjayoun when Hezbollah, the Muslim people, attacked it, and he was killed. His wife took the kids, 6 children, and ran to Israel. She lives there now. My 2 sisters went to see her in Israel. She's very happy. She said to my sister, while talking on the phone to us, I'm very happy with my children. My elder daughter's married. 2 daughters and 2 sons got married. Her daughter married a Jewish boy, and she's a teacher now. And then there's a picture of my great-grandma, my great-grandfather, and then, I guess, my great-uncle, George? I think you saw George very recently, Isabel. Or you're seeing George, like, soon. I think he lives in Brisbane. Anyway, moving on. Chapter 2, I think. My father's family. Shmeli. My father's name was Asaf Shmeli. He was born in Marjayoun, I think. His father, my grandfather, and his brother went to South America when the war started a long time ago. They're in Buenos Aires now. We found out a few years back that he married there and had children, and he's a millionaire. He doesn't know his son. He forgot his son and his wife. My grandmother took her son, my father, and went to the big Catholic home for help. They gave her a farm to look after. My father was young. She used to tell me, and she looked after him and his sister, my auntie. God, I don't know if you are hearing this, Izzy. Does this not just sound like Teta? This sounds like my grandma. Just how everywhere it is. Like, it's really like that. Man. George, what a mad lad. I don't know which one George is. They all look the same. Went to Tessa's funeral and there were a billion of Tessa's twins. That's true. That's really true. They all look exactly the same. My father stayed with his mother on the farm. When my father grew up and he got a car and started driving everywhere and taking people for money, driving them from city to city. My auntie married. She had 6 children. There was nothing to do for a woman except have children. That's sad. There's a book in my brother's house in Brisbane about my father's family. There's a big family in Lebanon now, the Shmeli family, our family. That's literally it for that chapter. Next chapter is Jerusalem. I had such a good time before I was married. I had such a good time before I was married. I had such a good time before I was married with my brothers and sisters, playing, going on holidays and trips. We went everywhere. We used to go for trips to the Cedar Mountain in Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. We went through Syria and Jordan to get to Jerusalem. It's very easy to go to Jerusalem from Lebanon driving by car. My brother took some Armenian people, the ones with me in this photo, and they wanted to go to Jerusalem. My brother said, "Alright, I'll take you, but I'll take my sister with me." So I went with him, everywhere he went. It was an all-day's drive. There's another photo. You cannot see anything. God damn. I'll take some pictures. I'll take some pictures of the pictures and maybe post them in Discord. And then there's another picture. It says Shahina, who's my grandma, and her elder brother Shaheen outside a mosque on the way to Jerusalem. And that's that one there. Me and my brother... okay, hang on. Another picture. Me and my brother and the donkey we went on to Jerusalem. My older brother Shaheen, who has died. We rode the donkey, and my brother said, poor donkey, he'll die. She had a sense of humor, I guess. And then one more picture here. I guess this is still Jerusalem with the camel in the background. On our Jerusalem trip, I rode on the camel and my brother said, "Don't ride the camel, you'll fall off and break your neck." And now we move on to Australia. My third brother, Labib, who, by the way, Labib is hilarious. He's like the funniest person in the family besides me, of course. My third brother, Labib, came to Australia. He worked in Perth first, I think. He came to work in a mine. He had a hard time. The first time he left home, working hard. He moved to Queensland. I don't know what he did there, but he stayed there until he met my husband. He's Egyptian, my husband. They met when they lived together. All the foreigners lived there. All the foreigners lived together. And my husband saw my photo on... hold on, let me reread this. And my husband saw my photo with my brother and said that he would marry me. They sent for me, but the first time my father said no. After that, we started writing. I wrote to him, and he wrote to me, and then I came to Australia. After 4 days, I married him. He couldn't wait. My brother came from Whyalla, where he was working. In our country, the girls can't stay with a boy in a room alone. They have to be with their family. That's why my brother couldn't leave me and go back to Whyalla. In 4 days, we made the dress, me and my brother. He's a dressmaker too. We bought the material, satin with silver colors, and worked on the bottom and the top. It was a very nice dress. It had a little jacket on the top. After the wedding, my brother went back to Whyalla and I stayed alone with my husband, John, and my brother-in-law. We were married for 46 years. Now, my grandfather passed away a few years earlier, but this is a picture of those two. When I came to Australia, we had the wedding, and the next day I started working. The wedding was at St. George Church in Redfern. We lived at East Lakes in a unit. This photo, I'll show you in a second, this photo was taken at the priest's house in Lebanon. My parents didn't see my wedding, so when the priest who married me went to Lebanon, my parents went to his house to see him. They said to him, "You married our daughter," and they asked him to tell them about the wedding. He said to them, "All right, sit down. I'll take a photo for you and give it to her in Australia so she'll know I saw you and you asked me about the wedding." So basically, I got a little bit more information of this after, and they essentially did their own ceremony after. After my grandparents married in Australia, because they couldn't be there, they did their own ceremony in Lebanon. So that's a picture of them all sitting down and learning about the wedding. I do not know what a Tesco club card is. Can I have some more information before I sign up? That would be amazing. Oh no, they wouldn't have had a honeymoon. They were too hardworking, or at least my grandfather was. When I came here, I spoke French. I used to speak a little bit of English and mix up the words with the French words. John spoke English because he was living here a long time. He didn't speak French, but he spoke English and he translated for me. We spoke Arabic together. I had a good time. I worked here in so many places. I worked for Pretty Girl. It was a company that made nice dresses. I worked in Brisbane for a Jewish company that made men's suits. I used to cut the patterns, put the patterns on, and cut the big lots. Then I worked for a company making school uniforms in Pitt Street, Sydney. His name was Mr. Man. He was Jewish too. I love my grandma, man. His name was Mr. Man. He was Jewish too, chat. He was a very good man. It was on the second floor from the top. The whole floor for making school uniforms. He told me, don't listen to them. You work and you don't listen to them. Some of the women, old women, who were there for a long time were talking too much. I stayed there till I was 8 months pregnant. I had such a big tummy at 8 months. I was standing up at the tables, not sitting down. They were very big tables. We laid the materials on top of each other, quite thick, and used big machine scissors cutting up and down. We marked the uniform out, and we cut on the mark all around. All the sleeves together, the front together, the back together. Some were blue and white checks, little fine checks. Sometimes we did navy blue too. All the kids I used to see wearing school uniforms, I thought, that's my work. I still see them in the streets all the time. Still the same color. St. Mary St. Joseph School at Maroubra Beach. One day, I was sitting at the bus stop when the kids came out of school. Some of them came to the bus stop and I asked one of them, that's your uniform? Yes, she said. And I said, you've had it a long time, that one. She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. They look nice. That's amazing. Next chapter, Lucy is born. I don't believe this first line for a second. Hold on. Okay. After we were married, I got pregnant straight away. First day. I couldn't believe it. I married on the 14th, and Lucy was born on the 14th. The same day. Anyway. I was pregnant with Lucy and had a big tummy, and I couldn't sit down at the machine. I had to stand up to cut the patterns for the school uniforms. I worked there till I was 8 months pregnant. We were living in Wollongong near the hospital. John worked at the steelworks. We lived with a Greek family. She rented us a room and we lived with them. Some Egyptian friends wanted to come to Wollongong to have a barbecue. So we said, alright, we'll go too. We went with them, they got fish, they got everything, and we had the barbecue. I started feeling a little bit sick. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sit down, I had to walk and felt pain around the middle. When I told John, he said, alright, maybe you will go home. We went home, we went to sleep, and I couldn't sleep for the pain. And I felt the water break because I went to the toilet. Because I went to the toilet and felt the water coming down. Lucky, it was in the Lucky it was in the toilet and not in the bed. Straight away, he got up and put me in the car, covered me in a big blanket, and we drove to Sydney from there because I already booked into St. Margaret's Hospital. I was screaming and crying and they brought me a bed with a hole in the middle and they put me to sleep on my tummy. They put me on my tummy in the hole and left me. I screamed and screamed and I screamed until morning. Till my Dr. McAuliffe, I don't know how to say that, came and Lucy was born. St. Margaret's Hospital in Paddington was a private hospital, and I had the ensuite. My husband took me there and didn't go home. When they kicked him out at night, he went underneath the balcony. He didn't want to go home alone. We put her in a nursery so I could go to work. It was a Maltese lady in Alexandria. She had some kids, and we put Lucy there in the daytime, and we took her back at night. We lived at Bondi Beach at the time. Alright, next chapter, on the way to Perth. After that, my husband got into his head that we had to go to Perth. He bought a trailer, put it behind the car, and filled it with our washing machine and our valuable furniture. We were in the car and I was driving. Before we got to Adelaide, we were near a town called Hay. There's a big highway there, and it looks like I fell asleep while I was driving and the car started swerving. My husband was asleep on the other side. He woke up and said, "Just don't push. Take your leg off the accelerator and go with the car where it goes." The car went off the side of the road and down under it into a field with lettuce and tomatoes. Nobody was hurt. I was pregnant with my son John at the time. The trailer turned over and our furniture broke. The car was alright, Lucy was alright, me and my husband too. Lucy and I were in the car under the hill, and John said he'd go to Adelaide to bring somebody to pick us up. Adelaide. John brought another car and another trailer and picked us up. We slept in a hotel in Adelaide, and next morning we found a little unit in Semaphore in Adelaide. We rented it and stayed there. We opened a shop and a grocery and a takeaway food shop, me and my husband. We worked in that until I had John at the hospital in Adelaide. It was good. Lucy and her father were in the shop, and I was in the hospital having a baby. We moved from that shop to another shop that went bankrupt because we took all the customers from him. I was in a shopping center. It was in a shopping center, and we took over the shop, and we saved it, and then we went overseas to Lebanon and Egypt. It was hard, especially in the takeaway food shop in Adelaide, from 7 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock the next morning, standing up in the takeaway food and pizza bar. I slept in a room at the side in the kitchen. I put a little bed there and slept there. The shop was in front of the hospital in Adelaide, across the road. All the doctors and the nurses used to come at night and want to eat and buy things, so I had to keep open. I did all the cooking. I had one lady with me, an old woman, but she wasn't much help. She had the shop before anybody else had it. She sold it to somebody and stayed in it. Sold it to 3 people and she was still there. We came, she stayed with us. She was English, Mrs. Berkeley. The bikies used to come to the shop in Adelaide. I used to serve them all sandwiches and hamburgers, and I'd fight with them too. The shop was takeaway food, pizza bar, everything. There was a big area outside with tables and chairs for people to sit down, a music box where they put money in. They used to sit at tables and chairs, and any girls that came inside, they would try to talk to them. I used to fight with them and kick them out because they were no good for customers. They'd take up the chairs and tables, and sometimes they would talk bad to customers, especially the young girls. This is my favorite page. My husband bought a Great Dane dog. He called it Nero. He was as big as a horse. He sat down at the door. Even the dog didn't like the bikies. So they would sit outside on the footpath, and if they wanted anything, they'd send somebody down with the order. One day, a bikie's girl hit the glass window. She hit it with her shoes, or her helmet. She wanted to break it. It didn't break, and the dog ran after her. She ran, and the dog ran after her. The police came quickly and went after her. The girl was standing there, and the dog was standing in front of her, and the police told her to go with the dog. If he held her hand, go with him, and he talked to him, go get her. And the dog took hold of her arm. She came back crying. The dog didn't hurt her. He just brought her to the police. We gave him a big piece of meat meat that day. A whole chicken. It doesn't end there. My husband went to the farm. It was very funny. And he got about 50 chickens in the car. Alive. He was driving and the chickens were jumping all over him. He put them in the shed at the house and they were just for the dog. Dog food. I was scared. I was too scared to kill them. But we had a lady who worked in the shop with us. She killed them and cleaned them and put them in the freezer, so every day we gave Nero 2 chickens. We'd just throw it and he caught it in his mouth and crush it. He was a big dog, but very intelligent. A very nice dog. He used to look after the children. If I was in the shop working with my husband, I'd go home just to see what the kids were doing. The kids would be on the floor looking at the television and he was asleep with them. They used to ride on his back. We gave him to somebody before we left. We told him to send him to my brother, but he didn't send it. He took the dog himself. We used to put him in the car on the back seat with his head outside. I would close the window. I was scared when we were driving he was behind me. I put his head out and put the window up. When he'd see a bicycle rider, he'd bark at them and make them jump. He really didn't like any bikies. It was very funny. Yeah, it's literally Nelly. It's exactly Nelly. Nelly and Nero. Okay, I have to show you the picture. So my grandmother and my grandfather, look at the mustache, man. Look at the quality of the mustache. You can't really see it, but that's them. Anyway, I made that dress after a few years. I made it smaller for Lucy. I wore it everywhere, and then I shortened it for Lucy. After that, she wore it too. The material had a gold flower. It was from Saudi Arabia. I used to help an old woman who lived upstairs from us in Lebanon, and she had a business in Saudi Arabia. When she went there and came back, she gave me that material. She said, "That's a present for you." I used to be very skinny and wore gloves with everything. This is probably the second coolest story in the entire book, by the way, this bit. Lebanon and Egypt. We left Adelaide and went overseas. We went to Beirut where my parents lived. We stayed 6 months and then we went and stayed 6 months in Egypt. The children went to school and they learnt Arabic. We couldn't stay in Lebanon after the war broke out and they were fighting each other and shooting, and my kids had never seen that here. "What is it, Mama?" they'd ask. "The Queen's birthday," I'd tell them. It was the Queen's birthday a long time ago. They were happy with that. John jumped up and down. I used to put them under the bed and put the mattress on top in case of any bombing or shooting. They were shooting over our heads during the war. We ran away to the mountains. We stayed there because of all the fighting. Bombs landed everywhere. My brother had a little house there. All the family was in that house, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. This was 1974. In 1975, I came back to Australia. My husband came back to Australia first, to Gladstone, where my brother was, and sent for us to come, me and the children. We went by army tank from my parents' house to the airport. One of my father's relatives was high up in the army, and we asked him to take us to the airport. He said, "I can't take you," he said, "but I'll send you in a tank." My kids and I went down in the hole in the top of the tank and to the airport. Otherwise, we would have been killed. They were shooting in the streets, everywhere. a little kid had a shotgun, and he stopped the tank. "Where are you going?" he said. A little kid. The driver told him just to go away and play. My parents stayed in Lebanon. If you stay inside your house, it was alright. The shooting was outside over the top, but if you went into the street, you got killed. So this is a picture of my grandma, my mom, and my uncle when they were kids. Can you guess which one is my mom and which one is my uncle? God, it's just little me. Uncle is like, yeah, exactly. This picture was taken when we ran away from Beirut, and we were on our way to the mountains because of the bombings. There was a civil war in Lebanon between the Christians and the Muslims. It was bad. They were bombing over our heads. In the mountains, we were the only Christians, so there was no bombing there. All of us were sitting in a little room. When it finished, we went back home. When we left to come back to Australia, we went to the airport and were sitting in the plane. Just as the plane took off, we looked back and saw the airport had been bombed. "We're very lucky," the captain said. "The airport has just been bombed." Yes, we were frightened. We were the last plane out of the airport going to Saudi Arabia. It took us to Jeddah. We stayed one night there until Qantas came and picked us up and took us to Australia the next morning. The airport there is beautiful, and we had a suite, and the kids and I slept there, and next morning they gave us breakfast, which was very good. Then Qantas came and said, "Who's going to Australia?" We came to Sydney, and from Sydney we took the train to Gladstone. It was a big trip, but I didn't realise until now what we'd been through. All the family in Australia. All my brothers and sisters came to Australia. When I came back from Lebanon, my husband was working in Gladstone, Queensland. My 3 sisters and 1 brother came from Cyprus to Gladstone. My husband met them at Rockhampton and brought them to Gladstone. They stayed and worked there for a little while, and later somebody from Brisbane, a Lebanese, told them to come down to Brisbane and find a better job. And then that's a picture, I've shown you this picture before, of them getting their citizenship. And it's captioned, "I made this dress. It had silver thread at the neck and on the hem, and they had a party afterwards." They didn't do that. They don't do that now. My 3rd brother, Labib, is a very good dressmaker. He learnt in Lebanon. He came here and opened a designer clothes workshop. He worked hard. He was a very good worker and he did very well, until some stupid idiot caused a fire in the shop and he lost everything. But he didn't get upset. He said, "Never mind, I'll start again and I'll get up again." He's very good now. He's in Brisbane now. He's made his daughter's bridesmaids dresses, 6 of them. He's rich as hell now as well. Like, he literally built his house. And it is a mansion. Or so he tells me every single time I visit. He also made the bridesmaids dresses for his son's wedding. He worked very hard for his children's weddings. 6 months beforehand, he made all the dresses and everything. Now, if anybody wants a shortened dress, pants, or hem, they go to him. He said, "No, I've closed the shop. No more." He built a nice big 2-story house in Brisbane. Upstairs has 3 bedrooms, an ensuite, and a little corridor, and a balcony in the front, and a sitting room that he made into a dressmaking room. He put his machines in it, and he's very clever. My father and my mother got taken first from Lebanon to Cyprus because there was a war going on there. My brother Labib went to them and did all the paperwork in Cyprus for them to come to Australia. He didn't bring them here like the boat people. He filled out all the immigration papers from Cyprus and they came to Australia. My brother, bigger brother, his family, and my 3 sisters and my niece. Her mother died, so we brought her here. They're all married now and everyone's had children. They don't want to go back because they have trouble in the Middle East and it's better to stay here. They've done good for themselves, buying houses and working all the time. And their children are married now. All of them are good. Welcome back, Ben. The book's amazing. I really like it. So this is my great-grandma and Uncle Labib, who, again, he's the second funniest person in the family, only behind me. Apparently in Brisbane, we used to own a boat. We lived across the road from Brisbane River. It was nice there. We kept the boat under the house. That was the entire page. Moving on. Gladstone. When we came back from overseas to Gladstone, my husband was working as a fitter and turner with a big company, and I worked as a dressmaker in the house. I used to make dresses for some ladies. I put an ad in the paper and a lot of people came and brought the material and I made them dresses. So she shows another picture here. Can't really see it, but anyway. That's me with my 2 kids. I was skinny then. I still have that dress. It has silver buttons. I still have my own sewing machine and overlock machine too. I made these dresses for the ballet. Gladstone was a little town with nothing in it. If we wanted to go to the shop, we had to walk half an hour. We used to go all together. It was a really nice life, nice and quiet. You could keep your door open at night. They built the houses high up on poles. All the houses were built like that, because the water could go underneath. My kids liked that, when the water came right up and the kids were standing on the balcony saying, "Here it comes, very welcome. Come on, let's go fishing." We were very close to the hospital, a 10-minute walk. It was good. Then my husband finished work and found work in Sydney. I had to follow him, so we moved again to Sydney. Back to Sydney. My brother was in Sydney and we came to him. We lived in a unit behind the shopping centre in East Lakes. The kids went to school, my husband worked, and I did my dressmaking. After Gladstone, my husband brought my 2 sisters and they came and lived here with my husband. So, wait, what? They came and lived here, and my husband found work, and my 2 sisters found jobs too. After I came back, I followed them. My husband came back and we got the furniture and we lived in Sydney. We lived in East Lakes in Gardeners Road in a 2-story building. There was a bakery downstairs and we lived upstairs. 2 old men lived there. They owned the shop downstairs. I would go to work when Lucy was little. I worked in the city in Pitt Street and I put Lucy in Alexandria with a woman who looked after the kids. I washed at night and hung the washing out downstairs. I came back from work and found the 2 old men from downstairs had taken the washing off and folded it and put it on the stairs for me. They were very, very nice people. I remember them now in Gardeners Road. Okay, are you ready for the best bit? So, this is the end of the book. She writes a story individually. Well, not a story, but, a paragraph. For my mom and my uncle, her kids. Starting with my mom, Lucy. When I die, they will throw all my photos away. My daughter doesn't want anything in her house anymore. One day, I heard bang, 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 and thought, what's she doing? I went to her room and found she'd opened her wardrobe and taken out all of the dresses. They were all on the floor. I said, "Why? She said, "I'm gonna throw them away." I said, "Why are you throwing away clothes?" She said, "I want to get dressed. I can't find anything good, so I'm throwing them away and I'm going to buy a new one." And that is the story that she left for my mom. Now let's have a quick read of my uncle's. It's also double the size, by the way. I wonder who's the favorite of the two. John. My son was the manager at Kentucky Fried Chicken at Pagewood. That is not true. He was not the manager. And he got fired. I know this story. I've had it told to me so many times. He got fired because he punched the sign with the Colonel's face on it. He had apparently been told to fix it or something. And he's like, "This is beyond me. I'm pissed off, blah, blah, blah." He has rage problems. And he just like yeeted it, like just punched it, and then got fired that way. So, anyway, moving on. My son was the manager at Kentucky Fried Chicken at Pagewood. When he was young, he got a dog. She was a very nice dog, a collie. He called her Sonia. My mother-in-law came to Australia with her daughter. Her son had married a girl in Egypt, and her name was Sonia. When she was here, she heard my son call his dog. "Sonia, come on," he said. She looked up startled. She thought her daughter-in-law was there. "Where's Sonia?" she asked. "It's my dog," said John. When we went to Adelaide, he went to a woman who minded him. She had a chicken cage and oh no. She had a chicken cage and a rabbit cage. And one day, he opened the doors and let them all go. She was looking...
DeeZie fucking TV.
Cinta Amonier subscribed. Why am I still subscribed with you again? Ha ha ha, love you long time. DeeZie less than 3.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you for the 18-month. I'll do the push-ups in a second. You've missed an amazing stream. I appreciate it. Thank you. So he opened all the doors and let them all go. She was looking after about 10 kids. She was looking after about 10 kids there, and all the kids were running everywhere after the chickens. She called me on the phone. "Come and take your son," she said. But she took him back because she liked him, even though that day he was naughty. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That's the book. That's everything she wrote. Or had written. It is, in my opinion, obviously not written the best. But what I appreciate the most is it sounds so much like my grandma. Like it's just uncanny. It's amazing. So, really, really cool book. Really, really cool. And some of the stories are pretty amazing. Like, especially the tank one. They rode a fucking tank to get out of Lebanon during the war. Imagine. Anyway, yeah, that was my grandma's book that she wrote just before she passed away, and we just read it out. I'm gonna put this back now, but that was fun. I hope you guys liked that. I know that it might not be the most interesting thing in the world, especially considering some of you, know nothing about her, and to me, It's obviously special for obvious reasons, but also I just felt like I wanted to share it. So, thank you for letting me share that. Anyway, I have to do push-ups now. 28 of them, to be exact. I've actually done 50 push-ups today at work, so I'm going to count that on my counter. I'm going to do 28. Alright. Is my push-up cam on? Let's see. Oh, nice and blurry. There you go. That's better. And then after this, should we do the t-shirt competition? We've only got six. We've only got six shirts to look at, really. It's nice you have something like that to remember her. Exactly. Or like, again, just the fact that it's so close to how she speaks or spoke. That's amazing. It's like almost reviving her by reading it. Oh, I won't lie, after that long walk, oh, my legs are aching. I don't know if I could do that tomorrow. I said to you guys that I would do it tomorrow as well, the same walk. Oh my god. Can I do it tomorrow? Oh, you fucking dickhead. You're gonna make me do a 1-minute plank now? "28 push-ups first. Oh, that was 28, right? I think that actually was. Give me a second. Oh boy. I am getting fitter. Thanks for noticing. I'm almost down to 93 kilos already. Admittedly, I think a lot of the reason I can push up more, I don't know if it's my strength improving or if it's just my weight dropping. But either way, so far my best is 30 push-ups in a row. And we just did a 2-hour walk, nearly 17,000 steps. I haven't really eaten too much today either, only good foods, chicken, salad, banana, apple, pretty basic stuff. Calorie in is less than my, my calorie in, I'm counting calories, I don't know how to say the, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Anyway. Can I do the 1-minute plank now? Alexa, start a clock for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
Alexa, stop. Oh. There we go. Oh boy. My everything hurts. Just the way it should be. So we're at 78 push-ups. Should I include steps here? How many steps is it? Out of 10,000, let's say. My daily goal is going to be 10,000. How many did I do exactly? So on my thingy it says 16,854. There we go. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Can we get to 100 push-ups? I wonder. Oh boy. Alright. Should we do the t-shirt competition? What do you think? Are you guys down for a t-shirt competition or two? Maybe not two, just one. Maybe half of one. We don't have enough entries for one, to be honest. So it's got to be just half. Where's the Voss? It's here. I still got it. Don't worry. Must be nice. I don't know. I decided to just pick up some Woolworths cheapo brand of water today. All right, you want some entertainment? Okay. So, t-shirt competition, chat. Now, the last time I did a t-shirt competition, I actually had hair. I have since shaved my head, and it's been so long that it's actually grown back. Except for this bit, and a little bit here. Anyway, regardless. T-shirts. We've got 6 entries, so it's not going to be too much. Because you guys fucking suck, and you didn't submit very much. But that's okay. I think what we're going to do from now on is we are going to... I'm going to have the t-shirt competition, maybe not monthly, because we just don't have the demand for. I'm not a soda pop, and I you know, overexerted myself on that front. But every now and then, we'll just do the t-shirt competition, whenever we actually get entrants. So, without further ado, let's get in. So, what do we have first? T-shirt competition. Why? Come on, Ben. You didn't even get any votes. That's what's the best part about this. 0 votes. Omega lol. Yeah, Ben, with our first entry. Nobody seemed to like this one, and let's be honest. As much as it's topical. I am lesbianese, of course. Straight out of the closet. Let me ask you, chat, would you wear this? Would you wear this? I missed the hype train on the shirts. Did you though? I want to vote. Amy, you gotta vote. You gotta vote in the Discord. It's all in the Discord. We've got a t-shirt competition tab. That's where we're gonna, you know, post all the t-shirts from now on. Any entrants must go there. Which, by the way, I haven't actually mentioned what the prizes are. I'm gonna say, because this is half. What we used to do is like, I give $10 for any t-shirts that I actually use, and then it was $25 to the winner. because it's half, I feel like we should just half the cost. And we round down, of course. So instead of $25, I'm going to round it down. What's half of 20? Alexa, what's half of 25? Alexa, what's half of 25?
Half of 25 is 12.5.
Okay, we're going to round it down. So we're $10 for first place. And then second place is usually $10. So Alexa, what is half of 10?
Half of 10 is 5.
Okay. So we're going to round that down as well, and we're going to give nothing. How's that sound? Anyway, moving on. So straight out of the closet, listen. I get the joke. It is literally just something that has already been made. Did you even make this, or did you just Google search straight out? I need to Google search straight out of the closet. Actually, probably a bad idea to do on stream. I'm gonna do it off stream. Straight out of the closet. Yeah, this has already been made. Oh, they made it better. They put like the rainbow and everything. Anyway, it is literally just copyright material. I don't think I could put that in my merch store, could I? I listen. I'm sorry, Ben. You're usually a king when it comes to these t-shirt competitions. Cut back to every time you've submitted a t-shirt that I've liked. If I didn't cut, that's probably why. And yeah, moving on. Got a problem? Use gun. In the game. What do you think? Well, I want to get the chat's consensus here first, because I'm of two minds. What do you reckon? Give that man the $10,000. Yeah, glasses, man. He got 0 votes as well. So, you know, people love it. People are loving this design. Trust glasses to do this. True. Actually true. And he's not even here to see this abomination on stream, on his favorite e-girls stream. You gotta ask us if he'd wear them in person. If we'd wear them in person. Well, would you wear it in person, Stefan? Listen, I'm of two minds about this one. My first mind is no. And my second mind is, what the fuck, no. So, yeah, listen. I don't even think this. We can't really do much about this one, I'm sorry. In the game is all well and good, but maybe I can use this shirt as an asset in the game that I'm making. In the game. No, I don't think I will. Moving on. Now this one actually got 2 votes. I can't wait to build a wall around you. And it's also with his patented fucking yellow like outline around. Like, why do you always leave this in, Tom? Why? Whenever you make a t-shirt, you always do this. Look, I get this one as well. It's all I do. Whenever I see, like, whenever I play Minecraft, that's the first thing I gravitate towards. I see a village and I build a wall. I get it. I understand the joke. But would you wear it? I guess that's the question, chat. Would you wear this? Is this I don't know what the word is. This the next Kanye West kind of merchandise? That he's popular, right? Is this a Soda Poppin' Caliber merch store t-shirt. That is a paint special. That's true. That is true. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he literally just snip-tooled it. And then just used that. Who the fuck voted for this? Who voted for this? I need to know. I need to question them. So, hold on. Glasses just re-voted for his shirt. Glasses just re-voted for his shirt. And then Tom, Rosin and Glasses voted for this. We absolutely need to question them. We need to get the answer out. Why? Do you think they would wear it? Anyway, I don't know, man. I'm gonna put this in my favorite pile. I'm gonna put this in. Oh God, what's happening? I'm gonna put that in my favorite pile just for now because you know it's Tom and we're biased towards Tom. So, moving on. Another Yeah Ben shirt. DeeZie fucking TV. Now this one's a little better. I won't lie. This one's a little bit better because this is obviously a straight outta Compton design, but I think it really works with my logo. Like not memeing. I actually genuinely think this works. I just think the shirt that you chose sucks. I don't like that sweater combination with this logo at all. Like, if you had chosen a better shirt, like the logo, just send me that logo. I'll chuck that on a shirt for sure. But I cannot stand the combo of this logo and this shirt. Straight trash. Wow, Chief calling Ben out. I thought it was a long sleeve. Sintamonyet thinks it's actually a nice shirt. Interesting. Well, to be honest, I'm not kidding when I say this. I actually like the logo. For now, I'm going to favorite it, and we'll see what happens. It's just... It probably wouldn't be my first choice. This will probably be a backup, for now. But I genuinely like the logo idea. Moving on! Dream DeeZie. Winona forever. Awesome streamer, by the way. You should probably go and give her a follow if you can. This is a reference to a very old stream. Very old stream. We played Dream Daddy, a Game Grumps production, way back. In 2018, I believe, 2019, for Deesmas. I actually gave the game away as well as a little gift to viewers. I can't remember who got it. I think it was me. But anyway, this one, you know me, I fucking love simple. Nice and simple and easy. Dream DeeZie. I'm surprised that this didn't win, to be honest. Like, for me, personally, this is the winner. It's so cute. I want this in my merch shop. And I think you guys agree. Like, if there was one bit of merch that I would actually wear, it would be this. What do you think? I'd honestly buy it. There you go. There you go. No, I really like this one. I think it's also kind of cute even without without knowing the reference. I still think it works. Anyway, really well done, Winona. This is her first time that she's actually submitted a shirt as well. I feel a little bit bad because this is going to be the shortest and maybe potentially the last time we do a t-shirt competition, which, by the way, if you don't want it to be the last time, submit t-shirts. Submit them in the Discord, please. But I love this shirt. I think it's great. 100% well done. Like, that's going in the merch store for sure. And then Our eventual winner with 7 votes. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that this won. This is an automatic winner. Why? Why is this the automatic winner? Fuck. Ugh. I just can't get away from the Goldblum, man. Like, he's everywhere. It's art. It absolutely is art. This should be a poster. This should be a poster, not a shirt, man. Okay. Who here, show of hands, I know I've asked this for every shirt, but legitimately, who here would wear this? Jeff would. I would if you were a big streamer. Wow, I feel fucking called out. Listen, I do like it. It's got its own charm. It's a reference. Do I still have my Jeff Goldblum album? I don't know where my Jeff Goldblum album is, but I still have that to this day, and I'm never getting rid of him. And so I think that's the perfect way to end this t-shirt competition stream. Just with Jeff Goldblum's face fading into existence. What a shirt. 7 people voted for this. The little binky in your hand, and Jeff Goldblum surrounding me, and we've got that I've had that on my streams a few times, and okay, I'd say the one reason I don't like this shirt, the one and only reason, of course, you could have chosen a better fucking picture, man. I hate that picture. Anyway, Steffo wins, but will we keep... Wait, how's the favorites thing work on this? Whoop. I think the favorites tab broke. Will we keep all of the same shirts that we favorited? So, let's review. Tom's shirt. I'm gonna get a vote on this one. Do we keep Tom's shirt? Yes or no? Can I submit a t-shirt? I would love you to submit a t-shirt. Please, submit a t-shirt. Make it something about bananas. Please. Don't spend all your $10 at once.